tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I will never get over how anime this opening is.
It is incredibly anime, and
so
I love
great. It makes me so happy. It's so funny because like the show is at its saddest, but like this song makes me so happy. All right, guys. Hey, RWBY fans. For those of you joining us again today, we were here earlier today, Mark and I. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to everybody who wasn't able to come earlier but is joining us for the show this evening.
You mean those of us who have day jobs?
That was mean.
That's really mean.
That was very
And I was
mean.
at my job because I work here.
That's true, you do. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Mark Donica.
Hello, I'm the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. And to my left, it's the left, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
To the left.
That's the one where it looks like an L. Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hi guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Stacey Shuttles.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet.
And I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. Katie's got an eye on the live chat. And we are also going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag RWBYABTV.
I can do Twitter.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. Focus.
Mark's all over it.
Focus.
Yeah.
Mark's all over it. My
Focus.
man. So, guys, I want to start off talking about the world of Remnant, but I also want to just kind of emotionally check in with you all. How are we all doing right now?
I'm going to go collapse in a heap somewhere. How about you?
I'll be right next to you.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm good.
Aww, that's adorable.
Someone screen caps that and just photoshops little hearts and lacy text.
Aww.
Heap shipping.
Well, I gotta be Lacey text. Yeah, I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm very intrigued. I will say, watching these two episodes, I feel feelings, but there's also like a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of like foreshadowing going on. So that's a lot of today's panel is going to be prediction based, just so you knows. And
That Metroid, though.
Dat Metroid, though. I do also want to say, for those of you who might be tuning in for another reason, we are going to be making our Red vs. Blue DVD Blu-ray combo pack giveaway announcements at the end of the show, so stay tuned. Okay, I think that does it for announcements right now. So yeah, let's start with the world of Remnant Between Kingdoms. I love that we got an introduction to all of the different kingdoms through the various World of Remnants that we got during the interim. What did you guys think of this kind of look in between the kingdoms?
I think this is really going to be working with what we're seeing with Team Ranger right now, because we just got this entire village is dead because bandits attacked it and then Grimm happened. And then we got the bit of the background in the World of Remnant with bandits and Grimm, and these are how different villages survive, and this is how this sort of works for them. Like, it was very much a life sucks and then you die sort of World of Remnant.
A little bit. It was.
But it's good to have that background, and I'm sure we're going to run into those bandits, and I'm sure we're going to see more of that.
Yeah, and if anybody's going to make a life sucks and then you die World of Remnant, it's going to be Crow.
Naturally.
I don't know. I think Salem would be pretty high up in that.
That's true.
I mean, everything sucks, and
Well,
then I'm
life
going to
sucks.
kill you.
Yeah, no, life
You
sucks
shove
and then I
the
kill you.
bear, and then I will kill you.
I have made your life suck. Time to die.
Stacey, what do you think?
Man, I thought it was really interesting kind of seeing, and a lot of confirming what we were seeing in the episode. I like that we got it after we had already been thrust into seeing these little villages. Because, I mean, this volume has been the first one that we've really gone out into the world and seen these little villages. So, and then going back and having certain things confirmed and a little bit more in-depth explained to us. Now we're ready to go back and...
Yeah, I love the timing of it, because first we're introduced to a village that the team saved. And then we get to a village that Jean cared about that was decimated, and we get the hint about the bandits, and then we get this as a follow-up. If we had gotten this earlier, I don't think the emotional gut punch of what happened to Jean's childhood vacation area, I don't think it would have been as impactful.
Everything that Jean loves goes up in flames, let's be real.
Everything he loves
been rough.
dies.
It's been rough for him.
Specifically in flames.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's rough. I like that we get this information, too, because it says a lot about where we're going to be going. You know, the villages that are still around are probably villages to be contended with, because they either have great barriers, a strong military, or very, very stubborn people that will come at you with pitchforks.
Or they're villages that just started.
Yeah,
That have not
are
been
not
around for
long
very
this
long.
world.
I think we might even get not necessarily villages, but other bands of people who
yeah.
are just constantly traveling.
Other adventuring parties.
No,
Yeah,
I
keeping
just
ahead.
mean traveling civilizations like
Like
we had,
nomads.
like nomads. So to avoid everything and any possible negative emotions that come with the creatures of Grimm, oh, this area is pretty bandit heavy. Instead, we have traveling cities instead.
Yeah, I like.
Caravans.
Yeah, I like the idea of kind of this continual Oregon Trail across the kingdoms of Remnant. That sounds fun.
Oregon
You have died of dysentery and then Grimm. You have died of dysentery. Your family's grief attracted Grimm. They died of Grimm.
Aww. I was gonna say, do you hunt buffalo Grimm? Are buffalo Grimm a thing?
Probably.
They could be.
Oh my god! We went to Yellowstone when I was a kid, and I got to see a fully grown bison up close and personal. Those things are scary. They are big, and they don't care. So I feel like if we're going to have hoofed Grimm, bison are going to be the second scariest thing you could possibly have. The scariest thing you could possibly have with hooves is a moose. Moose are giant prehistoric creatures that really super don't care and whose eyes do not reflect light.
What would the literary reference be?
Do we need one?
We've gotten them for everything else.
Have we?
No, for the
Grimm?
for
That
the
just
Grimm.
means that we won't have Moose Grimm, and I am good with
Then
that.
it's fine.
With its evil antlers? You know what would be
I'm
cool?
sure there's some Canadian fable, or I don't know.
You know what would
find it though.
and we'll talk about different based Grimm when we get to episode 3. But what I would really like, just talking about like antler based Grimm, if anybody's seen Princess Mononoke and the Spirit of the Forest,
Forest spirit.
I would absolutely love to see an evil Grimm version of that.
We got that. That was what the Nightwalker was. Without its head, remember?
I don't, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
No.
no, that movie traumatized me.
Oh, that, like towards the end. It
where
wasn't
it
evil.
murdered almost everything.
But it wasn't evil.
It was a spirit
fine
of
in
it
the
was
end.
a spirit of death at that point.
Whatever.
Also, the
Anyway.
literary reference for a moose Grimm would definitely be Bullwinkle.
Oh god.
I suppose so.
Only if there was flying
twist that a
squirrel to
lot.
go with it.
Why wouldn't there be flying squirrel Grimm?
Watch that.
Terrified, just little flying squirrel.
And
only
then
if
they
it
swore.
Evil.
only if it still has
Terrifying.
only if it still has the Bullwinkle voice. The I'm gonna get you if the last thing that I do.
Humans, we're gonna kill him.
Something like
It would
that.
have to be a bad pun.
Probably.
But anyway, to kind
my
of
God.
to get back to the world of Remnant that we have, we also get a little bit of talk about the uncharted territories, which is, Crow acknowledging that there are places on the map we haven't talked about. Mainly that big shadowy place
You
shaped
must
like a
never
dragon.
go there, Simba.
And now here's a question. He also says, and somewhere out there, she is. And we can probably assume that the she is Salem, hanging out in her shadowy kingdom filled with Grimm spawn or whatever. But is it possible he's talking about somebody else? Possible that he's talking about Raven. Possible he's talking about somebody we haven't met yet.
If there is a somebody else, if it could be a somebody else, it would be Raven. But I'm pretty sure it's Salem.
I'd imagine.
I mean, CinemaSins would call it playing the pronoun game, so we don't really
So we have
have
to
an
know
answer.
so we have to ask who she is. Ding. Exactly. Well, again, I absolutely loved. I can't talk enough about how much I love the animation style with this, and I really appreciate the choice for Crow as the narrator for these ones. Do you guys have any other thoughts on this episode of The World of Remnant?
Malachroma says they're holding out for Grimm the size of mountains. The Sea Dragon Grimm was great, but give me something bigger. Jennifer wants Chipmunk Grimm, and half the chat really loves Moose and Squirrel. Standing by Life wants Owl Grimm.
Ooh.
And heads that turn all the way
I like
around.
No, not ooh.
Who? The centuries,
There you go. Perfect. Nailed it.
The Sentry, yeah.
right?
That would be
Have the
so cool.
owls.
All right, so yeah, talking about different types of Grimm. Let's go ahead and move on into Volume 4, Episode 3 of Runaways and Stowaways. Guys, like, I love that this episode was 20 minutes long. I love that we're getting like 20-minute long episodes right now.
nice.
Yes.
Actual
spoiled.
TV length.
Yeah.
I'd have to
That's
imagine
incredible.
that the animation team is just kind of collapsed in a heap anytime they get a chance to think.
Can we take a minute to appreciate how freaking special like this volume in particular is? Looking at the set pieces and the lighting, I'm looking at all this and going like, I'm not an animator, but I know for a fact that they have to create all of these different assets just for this one set piece, this one action sequence, and holy cow, guys, it was amazing.
Yeah, they have to design them, they have to build them, they have to rig them. It is a multi-step process that goes through multiple people. Thank God they're using Maya at this point.
Yeah, I know that some people aren't crazy about that new transition, but guys, it was the right move and it
my
looks
God,
fantastic.
Who's not
Yes.
crazy about the transition?
There's some people
lot
who
of people
prefer
we've
the
talked
way it looks in Poser, but you know what? I
well,
love
they're posers.
but I love the way it looks in Maya, and you should always go with the industry standard unless you have something better.
Yeah, and at the moment, Maya is the industry standard. That's what people in art colleges are learning. So it'll be easier for them to be like, we need animators, come, as opposed to, we need animators. Do you know Poser?
Specifically trained in
Right.
this kind of niche software, which nothing against Poser, like it worked really well for the first 3 seasons. It worked phenomenally, but like seeing the new engine, it is a tier above, and I just get lost in the sky, guys.
God, yes.
I get lost looking at the sky and the stars. It's so nice.
Hey, look at that sky.
That sky,
beautiful.
that
Sky,
that
no.
sky there.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So before we kind of jump into the Blake side of things, I want to start off talking about Yang, because I feel like this is the most emotionally driven sort of. Everybody's dealing with their own stuff right now, but I feel like Yang in particular is the most emotionally driven plot point at this particular time, particularly with the way they're portraying her PTSD. And I wanted to pose to you guys, what do you guys think about where she's at right now?
I mean, there's part of me that's impatient for her to move on, but having not gone through anything remotely similar to this, I don't feel like I really have the right to be like, oh no, she should be over it, because everyone handles this stuff really differently, and that was an extremely traumatic event.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way it's super this understated. I mean, it's very, very clear what she's going through and how she's not really handling it, but it's in a very quiet, very subdued way, except, when things happen and it flares up really bad like that. And just the kind of disconnect with introducing, her getting an arm and having this chance and then just having no motivation to take it. That was a really big kind of important facet.
I think that speaks to Yang's resolve, though. It's the fact that she wants to figure out how to live like this instead of getting the easy way out with the arm. It also tells us something interesting about our boy Ironwood. Like in episode 2, it was initially like, oh, school's coming back, you're welcome to come anytime. But now with the arm, it's like Ironwood already had it ready. He seems like he is just riddled with guilt about
Absolutely.
everything that's happened.
Yeah.
It was
And-
his precious robot army that got taken over,
And it was
that
his precious
caused
robot
a lot
that
of
got
problems.
Yeah, and
torn to bits.
And Ozpin, now having disappeared, and again, we'll get to that a little bit later. But with Ozpin gone, I think he is trying to make up for it. I think he's trying his best to be there for Ozpin's students when in the wake of his disappearance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I do like how they kind of play it up ambiguously. You're not quite sure if she doesn't want to take it because it's admitting to something that she's lost, or like it's fully accepting it at that point, or if she sees it as a crutch, or we don't really quite know why she's turned it down at this particular point, or if she's just, the reason she isn't taking it is because she's just not ready to move on yet. Like that could be it too.
Yeah, I saw a theory. I think it was in the comments of Megan and I do reaction videos to these episodes, and I think it was in the comments of our latest video talking about Yang not taking the arm because she hasn't fully accepted that she's lost her arm yet. And if you look at the interpretation of this PTSD trigger moment as her trying to pass a cup to the arm that's no longer there, that could very well be part of it.
Yeah, and that's something too, because I didn't pick up on that the first time I watched this episode. That was something that after they pointed that out, I was like, oh yeah, she was trying to do that. It looks like that's exactly what she was trying to do. And yeah, it's really tough. So my question, we know eventually she's going to move on. We know that for a fact that she will, she'll never get her arm back, but she will emotionally move past this, even though this is something that is going to stick with her for forever. My question to you guys is, what do you think is going to be the thing that moves her past this? Is it her own resolve, or is she going to be forced to move on when other people come a-calling?
I'm going to say 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
I mean... Adam is still out there, and in her portion of the opening, like, we see Faunus that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
I think, and maybe, again, most of this panel is going to be predictions, I think that someone's going to attack, and she's gonna have to, she's literally gonna be forced into the situation where she has to do something.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think especially she's in this isolated little bubble. She has a routine. She can stay there. I mean, going to her routine, we see her kind of going through her household chores. She's settled in. I don't know that she has much inner motivation right now to kind of move on. So it might take an outer catalyst to kind of get her going again.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it will be the White Fang or any of the people that she's fought in the past. Like at the end of season 2, it was Neo. Raven could come a-calling. Who knows?
Yeah, K-Bits in the chat is predicting that Neo's gonna show up. Wouldn't that be a thing?
I don't think she would, because her most recent business is with Ruby. And how
Tortrick
was handled. So I think she would go after Ruby first, and we haven't even seen her emerge yet.
Long-range communications are down. She may not know where Ruby is, but she may have found out this is where Ruby's family lives. Maybe she'll be there. You always start at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. There's also, I mean, the TV stations are still up, and even though the main communication lines are down, news is still being conveyed, at least in the short run, in between each kingdoms. And so it's also possible that she could see Beacon under attack again, because there are grim troops that are surrounding Beacon, even though they're trying to rebuild. So it's also possible that she could see another village getting attacked, or her school getting attacked again, and she could that could be the trigger that makes her go and try to help. I don't know.
Because Kevin attracts Grim, doesn't he?
It's hard to say. I would just imagine that not only with Salem sending Grim, but also just whoever's left at Beacon, probably just this swirl of negativity and just not good feelings.
Never know when he's gonna emerge out of the stone, if ever, or there's just a whole bunch of unknown there.
Well, there's a lot of fear, absolutely.
Hi, Kevin.
Okay, keep bringing up the dragon. Let's go ahead and... Is there anything else you guys want to say about Yang's storyline before we move on?
I feel bad for her, but I do like that we're covering it in bits and pieces instead of just here's a big episode chunk that's about Yang. It's no, we kind of cut back.
Any coincidence that everybody else kind of got their own episode, but Yang and Blake got an episode together? I'm just poking. I'm just poking the ships at this point.
I think.
I mean, you can kind of tell from our
Blake
gimmicks
is on a ship.
what our studio ships.
I think maybe it's just time. I wouldn't disagree with that, but
I mean, it's in the Camp song. Damn it!
It might also. It is this fabulous Camp song that this man wrote.
Chad has been saying that last season, Taeyang said that Kevin was attracting Grim.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
And again, I just imagine that whole area is just a swirl of negative emotions. It's probably not a good time. Anyway, before we move on to Blake's side of the things, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about iTunes. Folks, thank you so much to everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, leave a comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you. It is also, coincidentally, the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. This man can attest to that.
I can. I am one of those people.
Yeah. And we also love that we have an international audience. We also love hearing from you guys on YouTube, on Twitter. For those of you on the international side of things, please take a screen cap of yours and tweet it at us, because, again, we love seeing those. And they do still count. They do still matter. So we really appreciate appreciate your guys' support. And you guys, if you leave a comment, you get a shout out on the show.
Also, if you review the podcast in Google Music, take a screen cap of those too and send those to us. So yes, we have 4 new reviews since 2 weeks ago. Y'all are wonderful. A++++ by Tumbling Block. This is one of my favorite after shows. It's always full of information that I might have missed, great theories and predictions, and I always enjoy listening. I'm as glad the after show is back as I am about RWBY itself. Thanks, you guys, for being awesome.
That is the highest praise I think we
love
can ever
you.
get. Thank you
Yes.
guys.
Great show by Problematic RWBY fan. I'm far too obsessed with RWBY and other Rooster Teeth things, and this podcast is a great way to keep up with the community and theories. The hosts are amazing, and the dynamic is great. I love it, and you will too. I look forward to seeing every episode. Keep it up, guys. Bi-weekly highlight by Abdelest. I think I'm saying that correctly. I was so happy to hear that the ABTV RWBY #alphabet soup was returning for this volume. It's been one of the things I look forward to with each new season. Great questions and theories, great commentary, great guests, and great hosts. Keep it up, guys.
Aww.
That last great was all in caps.
Aww.
And boy, it's good to be back by G_off2886. Great to see you all back and talking RWBY.
Aww.
Short and sweet. You guys are great.
You guys are
You guys are
so wonderful.
We love you.
Aw.
Thanks, Jeff.
You guys are the best. All right, let's go ahead and get back to it. So Blake is not on a one-woman quest to take down the White Fang.
She's on a boat. Everybody look at her because she's sailing on a boat.
Do we think she's going home to see her family?
Well, that's what
That
she
is
said.
what she
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Well, she's going home to Menagerie, but specifically, are we thinking that the Faunus in the opening are her like father and brother?
That I've seen father and brother, I've seen father and mother, I've seen a few other theories. I would not be surprised.
What if it's double dads?
Maybe.
Dads
Maybe.
for days.
Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
Parents.
Double dads is awesome.
Yeah.
Just the shorter one looked very young, so that was my assumption. I assumed little brother.
I mean, I could go into not family-friendly identifiers, but I won't because this is a family program.
Ish.
Ish.
Okay.
Depends on who we have on.
Ish. Depends on the day. But yeah, so she's kind of going on this soul searching, gonna go back to her roots and try to figure some stuff out. It's also possible that she's going to see them to obtain something, to help her on her eventual quest against the White Fang. How do we feel about Sun following her?
What the hell, man? Just like on one hand, I get the concern. I get it. She did the thing and then she ran off and disappeared and you're worried about her. Like, I completely understand. But you also put a cloak on and followed her onto a boat and the whole thing is just kind of... How were you socialized as a child? Were you socialized as a child?
And clearly wasn't. I'm sorry. Please remind me, what is the team name that he's a part of?
Hot and useless.
Ah, that's what it was.
He was
'Cause-
useful for an entire fight this episode. It's groundbreaking.
Yeah, but when he made his appearance and trying to say, I know why you did it, it reminds me of the Sun that we've known for the past couple of seasons. Like, he hasn't, and I think anybody who hasn't sort of updated their look hasn't, they made it a physical thing to not, they haven't changed yet. They haven't evolved.
He hasn't
He
gone
had a
through-
cloak for a hot second. That doesn't really
Get
count.
that biz right out of here.
he's
I'm back
still
to my
in
old
the
self.
He's still
I'm
the same
Jay
person.
Garrick.
Yeah.
He is. And I think that, I think that does really explain why he followed her. That's the disconnect between the two of them. Blake really didn't want anyone to go with her, but I feel like he would be like, I'm storming off, and he expects all his friends to follow him and then come to rescue him. And he doesn't really understand, I think.
And he's like,
that-
I ditch them all the time. It's
Yeah.
no big deal. It's fine.
I don't think he understands that, like, no, she doesn't actually want anyone
Well,
there with her.
And
So on one hand, he's not stalking her like that. On the other hand, he's still kind of stalking her. It's like,
yeah, and the other thing is we don't necessarily take into account whether or not he's running away from his problems either. I mean, there was an entire school of people filled with people who were his friends, who are now like, their school has tumbled and all of his friends have scattered to the wind. That's, with the exception of his team. That's something kind of traumatic to have gone through. And, it could be that him following her is also kind of his way of dealing with it. Of just
Yeah.
like, I'm going to look forward.
But he also, it was brought up that, well, what about abandoning the rest of your team? And he seemed not as confident when he mentioned they'll be fine without me. I told them that I'd be gone for a little while, and then the nice callback. It's not the first time that I hit out on a boat. Pretty
And
good. Pretty
do you really
solid.
think I'd get Neptune on the ocean?
Yeah.
And also, I'm already on the boat.
So,
Now,
Here we're committed.
Too late now.
I have two feelings on this. I obviously I think it was wrong for him to like stalk her, but I'm glad that she does have a confidant in this particular moment, because her running away from her problems, it's a bad habit that she keeps falling back on, and that's no way to go through life. Eventually, you have to confront your problems head on. She didn't even tell any of her friends where she was going. It's not
She
like,
just
hey,
dropped
there's something I have to do. I love you all, but I got to go take care of this.
Here's your Yang, or most of her. I gotta go.
Bye.
Bye.
But yeah, she didn't do that. So on the one hand, I get why he did what he did, but I'm glad she has at least someone there to kind of remind her of like her friends and what's important and things like that. On the other, and someone who's just generally fun to be around as well.
Well, and Sun was there when all of that went down. He
Who understands?
gets it to an extent.
Yeah, he didn't see what she saw or go through what she went through, but he has a better idea than I think a lot of other people would have. Right. However, and this is something I'm not sure how I feel about, there is a theory right now going around that the reason he's following her is because he's actually associated with the White Fang.
oh, and he's a double agent.
He's a
He's
double
working for
agent.
Adam.
Which, on the one hand, I'm like, I don't think so. On the other hand, I'm like, what a great twist!
That
What
be
a twist!
Pretty crazy double cross, yeah. Because we're not used to it, especially with his really bright and sunny disposition. Just kind of the nothing bad happens. So that would be a really interesting turnaround.
If you go back to the source material, I don't think they would do that. But
No.
I mean they have twisted people's, flipping Cinder for goodness sake. But I'm hoping that I'm a fan of the Journey to the West story, and so when he mentioned it'll be regular Journey to the East,
Yeah.
I'm hoping now that maybe we get more from that text. But that's just me, because I'm a fan. It's like Sandy or Pigsy or something like, and they're going to Menagerie, so there could be a pig,
Exactly.
pig
Exactly.
faunus, or another water creature faunus that could be Sandy. Yeah, I'm into it.
If it turns out that he is evil and he's a double agent, when we get the reveal, I really want him to go full ghost face reveal.
Like, just
go
scenery chewing.
scenery chewing completely off the handle. Like, if we're gonna do that, go. Just
Agreed.
go. And it really is a full-on ghost face reveal. Just do it. Just do it.
I love ghost face
Pull
reveals.
a Felix, pull a ghost face, swing for the friggin' fences. Just do it.
Just they go from being a normal person to I'm evil.
And
it's so much fun.
It's great. And if you don't believe us, watch literally any Scream movie. Because that is always what they do. It's like you're relatively sane, and then you tear the mask off, and it's like, oh.
you literally, it's like, oh, here's this piece of scenery. I'm gonna start chewing it now, apropos of nothing.
Hello,
it's so great.
Blake.
It's so much fun. Anywho, let's go ahead and there's something that's following this boat though, and it just happened. Well, the first time we see that fin, I'm like, oh my god, guys, it's a water grim. It's a water grim.
I just paused it and turned on the episode Serpent's Pass from Avatar: The Last Airbender and watched
Nice.
that, and then watched the rest of the episode.
And we get this wonderful reveal, but I want to ask you guys, before we got the reveal, I was thinking 100% water-based Grimm.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of water Grimm would you like to see in the show at some point? Because we are on this, boat voyage thing.
I have three.
Voyage thing.
I have three.
No.
I want a very, very old turtle, because the older Grimm are, the smarter and stronger they get, and giant old turtles, terrifying. Megalodon, giant sharks, Cthulhu.
Cthulhu Grimm would be the best.
This is what I want, Grim Thulu with little tentacle. Like, I want it in my life.
Stacy?
Well, a giant sea turtle, like a giant ancient sea turtle, was one of mine too.
Like an island.
just-
Yeah.
Well,
Come on,
now we're
come
really
on.
going Avatar Last Airbender.
What's your left?
Stacy.
Oh,
I was going to say we're getting straight up lion turtle.
I know, right?
yeah.
territory.
Here we go.
I agree with Mallory, who on the hashtag, which is hashtag RubyABTV, said hippogrim.
That's horrifying.
That's terrifying. It's the equivalent of the elephant Grim, but in the water.
Renji wants a Hydra.
Yeah, that would be great.
Exactly.
And
water.
Jason goes, jellyfish Grim. Like, okay.
We kind of got that
Yeah, we
a
did.
little
A little
bit.
bit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say manatee Grim, but now I'm thinking about it. No, swordfish Grim.
Hey!
I mean, we technically got a hint of that in the food fight. So
That's true.
Swordfish.
That's true.
Let's go with hammerhead sharks. Hammerhead sharks are horrifying, vicious things that will eat anything. People are afraid of great whites. Hammerheads are worse.
That'd be a terrifying design.
Yes!
With its eye. Oh, guys. So we want to hear from you guys in the chat. What kind of water-based Grim would
favorite
you
one
want to
right
see?
here. Jason Templar says Dory Grim,
I would forget what it was attacking.
but it would attack in a
whole
herd.
horde. Yeah, you
Ant
need a
says
bunch.
Kraken Grim. K-Bits is with me on Cthulhu. And Robert Lawrence says Giant Crab Grim. Hit the weak point for massive damage.
Crab people. I love the idea of a Kraken Grim. Absolutely. If we don't get one before the season's out, I'm gonna be really upset.
Standing by Life says Piranha Grim. You want to talk about tiny things that swarm?
That's gonna be great. But we don't get any of those things. Instead, we get this awesome, wonderful serpentine dragon that goes full Pacific Rim with the reveal of its wings.
Oh, yeah.
I adored this dragon.
Chinese water dragon.
It was an Eastern style dragon as opposed to Kevin, the Western style dragon.
And speaking of, we have another question for the table and for you guys out there. Kevin was our last dragon. What do we name this one?
The people in the comments of our reaction video have started calling it Philip. I rather like that. I am absolutely down with Philip.
I was gonna say Sokka.
Aww.
That's my favorite character from
back there.
that particular episode of Avatar: Last Airbender.
Nice.
Why not?
Nice. Stacey?
Oh man. I'm gonna throw it to Sokka. I mean, you gotta,
We have two for Sokka.
You gotta have the
Two for
avatar.
Sokka.
And he came
Throw
right
it
back
back.
like a boomerang.
He's also extremely dead.
Like a boomerang.
I was gonna go with something really nondescript like Steve or Bob or something, but
Chat like Steve and Philip.
I do like Philip. That has a.
Steve.
I like both Philip and Sokka. So we will leave it
I
up
like
to you in
Steve.
the chat as to what the dragon shall be henceforth named.
Evidently,
Anyway.
the subreddit has named it Steve.
It seems
All right, so
really?
it's Steve.
Okay, Steve the dragon.
And then Robert Lawrence says, I call it dead. I like you.
That
Well
burn
played.
was
Well played.
sick.
So, okay, guys. Favorite moment from this particular fight scene, because it was just spectacular.
Sing Sun Semblance again.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was pretty good.
That was very cool.
Jumping off of Sun's head because that's what he's good for.
I would have to say going full Final Fantasy Advent Children with like
Yes.
the throwing Blake up into
Oh,
the
yeah.
air.
Which, oddly enough, we talked about Monday on Video Game Movie
did.
Anatomy. We covered Advent Children that day, and we were like, that moment was so ridiculous. It was cool. It was really cool. But it was so ridiculous.
Advent Children is wonderful in a what am I watching? Alcohol, popcorn.gif kind of way.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was too young to drink when it came out.
I think my favorite review of Advent Children is the one that Sway did back on like Channel Awesome, where he spends the whole movie like ripping, going through the whole review, ripping on it, and then at the very end, when all the, when the screen's gone black, he just whispers into the mic, "Between you and me, I didn't hate it all that much."
That's good.
And
That's politics.
Yep.
I loved we spent the budget on the graphics and got the plot from fanfiction.net.
It's so pretty though.
Oh, don't
to
worry.
this day, it still looks pretty.
Yeah, don't worry. We covered all of that Monday on the Popcorn
So
Talks
yeah,
Video Game
check
Movie
that
Anatomy.
out, guys. Check that
I want to
out.
bring up something that Lindsay brought up. In case y'all didn't know, we interviewed Lindsay Jones earlier today. You can go watch that right after this show is over. It's a wonderful, succinct interview. It was wonderful to have her time. Thank again.
Cannot say thank you enough.
No. But she had mentioned one of her favorite parts, which when I rewatched it, I noticed it a little bit more, is watching Blake's ears.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the episode and the fight and all of the different emotions and
Talking about the
strength.
subtlety in the animation.
The subtlety in the
absolutely.
animation was
The expressions in this one were absolutely great. It's been for all the characters. Again, they're all going through a lot, emotionally speaking. There's a lot to unpack. And so the animators have done a fantastic job of conveying that to match the vocal performances. It's so great.
I loved the captain and the mates on the ship.
Yeah,
All of them
They were really likable.
unequivocally adored all of them. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I like that they were the ones that actually took out the dragon, too.
Yeah.
Right.
They weren't just like, nameless standby people, even though we didn't get a whole lot of names. They were actually the one that ended up blowing its head off. It was great.
They
Long
weren't
as-
just shadow
They were
people. They
ready.
did full on ramming speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which makes me think that we're gonna stick with them for at least a little bit.
I hope so.
Or that if we don't, we'll at least see them again at some point. I feel like you don't take out a Grim that big and not come back.
Yeah, you establish yourself at that point.
Exactly.
You're there to stay.
Cameron Watkins in the hashtag, and I have to bring this up because dang, what about a crocodile Grim? Have you seen those giant crocodiles they occasionally get in Florida? They're like 18,
Yeah, they're
20
freshwater,
feet
though.
long.
And if we
Okay,
ever get
alligator Grim.
and if we ever get like Peter Pan characters,
I mean, we do.
Oh.
tuck, tick, tock.
I mean, who's Scarlet's Captain Hook? That's the only thing we have. And also, Malachroma drew an Owl Grim, which was also in the hashtag. Go back in the hashtag. Last time, Malachroma drew us Whitley playing Parcheesi,
Work of art.
which happened while we were talking about it. So, Malachroma, you're magical.
you were on
They
point.
drew Whitley playing Parcheesi. How
Yeah.
did I miss
Wonderful.
that? I was at Disneyland. That's why.
You were.
Can you tweet that again? I want to see it.
Just on the hashtag.
It's in the. Do you have any idea how long our hashtag is?
It's
It's
great.
been 2 weeks.
It makes me so happy. Anyway, so okay,
the
we
top
get this wonderful scene of them together, and the way that they reunited. And again, I'm really glad that she has a confidant. Do we have anything else we want to say about Blake's side of the story this time around?
I loved the captain talking to her and just being like, people travel alone for a reason. It's pretty lonely. If you ever wanna, welcome to the ship.
Yeah. Almost a pre-recruiting moment. Of course, she was having none of it at that point, but
it's a show of solidarity for one of
yeah.
your passengers, and that's not something you would usually get from a captain of a larger ship.
But him being able to point out a huntsman or huntswoman makes me think that he's got a past.
Oh, of course he's
There's
got a
something
past.
Yeah, and I like the way he put it too. Is like usually the people traveling alone are the ones with the most interesting stories. If you ever feel like sharing story time, just let me know.
I'm really bored.
The sea is a very boring mistress.
It's been such an uneventful trip. Wait.
Oh, too soon.
So
Maybe that is uneventful for him.
maybe
they
maybe
handled
only
it.
take only one
It was
this
one
trip.
this time.
Man.
Whatevs.
Jason Templar says next summer on Sci-Fi, Grim NATO. I would watch that TV program.
Yeah. We're gonna see a poster before too long.
Tornado of Grim.
Grim-nado.
I love
Oh,
it.
I hope so.
Oh, I love it so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
All right. So to cut back from these very sweet and tender reunion to back to the Evil League of Evil. Okay, we get this great scene between Cinder and Salem, and it starts off with something is physically affecting Cinder. And I want to ask you guys what you guys think that physical change is. I don't think it's the maiden powers. Personally, I think whatever happened to Cinder or whatever happened to Salem to make her look that way, I think the same thing is happening to Cinder as well.
It's the incorporation of whatever creature she used to absorb the powers. So it's not. It wasn't just that
The
she
beetle
took.
grim.
Yeah, it's not just that she took the power, but she is also host to a parasite, and the parasite might be locking horns with her physiology.
Yeah, because my first time through, I kind of thought, I was like, oh, is it the maiden? But as the scene kind of progressed, it became pretty clear that it wasn't like her fighting with a good portion of herself or anything. It was definitely something, I think something more to do with the Grim, more tuned. Because then, of course, we saw how easily Salem kind of brought the Grim under her control. And I think that kind of points to her fighting with some kind of Grim power.
I saw a theory that said Grim prosthetic, and I am down.
Yeah, like whatever. I
The
mean,
idea that
we
she
haven't
got
seen
hosed
her.
badly enough to lose an arm, and then it was just like, okay, we're gonna do the thing, and you need to learn to control it because it's alive and it doesn't like you.
I mean, I really love the trope of like robot hands and also like monster appendages.
Yes.
I know that's kind of weird, but I really do like those things of like, you know, again, like the idea that she could have a grim arm, like that's really cool.
What if she
That
got
would make her armed and dangerous.
What if she got infused with a geist?
Yes! Yes!
Maybe.
Yes!
Maybe I'll say it again. What if she got infused with a geist?
And that way
Yes.
she could like she would have the power to be able to like kind
Form-
of
Form whatever she needed as her arm, and she could have just cut off some poor girl's arm and taken it as her own.
or she
with the
picked
help
up
of the geist.
Yang's arm.
Oh, God, that would be amazing! That would be awesome!
So terrible. I feel like that is a level of creepy, messed up, and visceral that I'm not sure this show is willing to go.
We're getting there.
We're willing
that
to
is
go crazy
vicious
fantasy
on a
visceral,
whole new
but
level.
picking up someone else's dead arm and attaching it to yourself is like, we're in horror movie
You're
territory.
disgusting, Megan.
And I'm not talking good horror movie
No,
territory.
I'm thinking like Full Metal Alchemist, how Scar had spoilers had his brother's arm. Like I think that's really
That
cool.
was an alchemical
But I think
accident.
that's a little different.
That's extremely different.
Just hey, no one's using it. Just walking
Or
over.
no,
This would be a vicious, like, I'm taking her arm and I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna master that thing and then I'm gonna fight her with it later.
I still
Like,
have one of her weapons on it. It's great.
Might as well. Speaking of a completely different thing, I know we passed it, but I have to shout this out. R Master 121 in the hashtag says Lawyer Grim or Giant Mosquito Grim. I think Lawyer Grim, you have something there. Terrifying
Aren't they the
creatures.
same? I mean, what?
Bloodsuckers. It's a
my
joke.
Lawyer jokes. Ha.
Just the like, welcome to Grim Court.
Standing by Life says it was Yang's left arm, and this is affecting Cinder's right arm.
So yeah.
So we've got a Rakshasa thing going on where the hands are backwards.
So yeah, she wouldn't be able to pick up. She wouldn't be able to pick up Yang's arm. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't be very helpful.
Or
It would
rather,
be
I
funny
guess
though.
she could
or
still.
other directions.
But it wouldn't be as helpful.
No.
Evidently, we got the left and right mixed up. Anyway,
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
it's the ones that doesn't match.
There we
would,
go.
but
It's
at
not-
the end,
it's not gonna match.
in the end, she would be all right because that's all that's left.
Don't encourage her.
He gets like this. See?
All right.
Did you miss me last episode? Did you miss me?
But
Yep,
Call that
that's
up.
me. You might be wondering how I got here. Well, I'm about to tell you.
anyway,
You're encouraging him.
so talking about these two, you know, Salem asks her again, and for some reason, it seems like she has reason to believe that Cinder might not have been forthcoming. She just really wants to make sure Ozpin's dead. I want to reaffirm with the table, he's not really dead, right?
I think he disappeared.
If he's dead, he's not dead for good.
No.
He's gonna come back as a big giant head in some way, shape, or form.
That's what I said. Going back to our ticks 2 years ago, it's gonna be
Yeah,
a
it's
big
gonna
big
happen.
old giant head Ozpin.
So Mark gave us a heads up there. And
Oh, okay, stop that. Anyway,
no, never.
Stacey, thoughts?
I don't know. I can't tell honestly at this point if like either Cinder does really think that he's dead because he disappeared and she's like, yeah, he's done, or if she's not sure but she's acting like she is and Salem knows that.
Yeah,
which is why she kind of keeps asking.
I kind of tend to agree with that in that, yeah, I think he disappeared, so she thinks he's dead, but you can't really be 100% sure.
No
that
body,
sort of
no
thing.
death.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I think Salem kind of knows that. Like she's like, no,
And I think Cinder's afraid of the possibility that he's not.
And I have to wonder if, because the Metroid tentacle Grim came on screen.
Jeremy.
Sounding like the Grudge.
The death jellyfish, the whatever we're gonna call it.
Jeremy.
Bob. Jeremy?
Jeremy the jellyfish.
Is it
Okay,
Jeremy?
great.
I was
Okay.
just gonna go with Bob. Bob,
Jeremy.
the destroyer of worlds. So Jerabob shows up. Bob-a-me. It's Bob-a-me
Just
now.
get to whatever point you're trying to make. We do have a
He
time limit.
may have gotten some information from Bob-a-me that, yep, I have to stick with that, that contradicts what Cinder said. Because she was definitely communicating with the thing. And I loved the fisheye view that we got from it. The red-tinged fisheye view looking at Emerald and Mercury going, I regret all of my life decisions ever.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah, they don't.
Who do you think did it? Malachroma made a Grim NATO poster already. I flippin' told you. All you need is a little push. That's all you need.
God
Yeah.
bless.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it's the Volume 4 Grim, too. So
My God, you are
Updated viz.
amazing.
Malachroma, you bring joy into my life. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
But something else to note here is that they're increasing their numbers at Beacon, but she's also searching for an artifact. Now, I want to know what everybody's theories are on that particular one. I have one. I think it happens to be ruby slippers that she's looking for.
I think it's
She is the
Ozpin's
Wicked
mug.
Witch.
I think it's Ozpin's mug.
I think it's Ozpin's cane.
The cane, right?
But they did say that it wasn't Ozpin's weapon.
Who says that
Who
was a
said
weapon?
that?
I think there was an interview at some point. Like, that has been supposedly, guys, help me with
Sources.
links here. Please
Cite
help.
your sources.
I know, cite my sources. Help me with links here. I feel like that came from someone.
Sorry.
What do we have?
Somebody's requesting a Chupa thingy Grim.
I like it. I
Eats all the goats.
like it. Okay, we are running short on time, and we've still got quite a bit to get through. So I want to know any other thoughts on this scene before we move into some rapid fire predictions.
This was glorious and very horror movie, and I will be interested to see where Mercury and Emerald go from here because they did not sign up for this.
They look like they regret their
Yeah.
life choices.
Oh
I
yeah.
think they're in a lot deeper than they really ever thought, and it'll be interesting to see if that turns them around or if they're gonna stick through it.
And we haven't even heard Mercury this season.
No,
So-
no, he's been oddly silent. Just like that's not necessarily him. We still have a giveaway to do, Steven. Sorry, real quick. Okay, guys, that was our predictions.
Yeah, we did predictions the entire episode.
Yeah, we really did.
Basically, yeah. So we have a giveaway. We picked retweets from our. We each individually had a tweet out. If you retweeted any of those, you were eligible to win. So, drum roll, please. The winner of Katie Cullen's particular retweet session was
Tom Wyndham, TW Wyndham on Twitter. Congratulations, my man.
Yay! And the winner for Mark's was
X Inspired on Twitter. That is. Yeah, it was no joke.
Woohoo.
No joke. You won a RVB Volume 14 DVD.
All right.
Special edition Blu-ray DVD comes with all the bells and whistles and I think a coloring book.
Yeah, Cabooses coloring book.
Yep.
Sweet. And the winner for mine was Aqua Kazaz. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's at Aqua CZAZ on Twitter. Congratulations. We will DM you guys for details.
So make sure you're following us so that we can contact you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for participating. Congratulations again to the winner. Thank you to everybody who participated in the contest. It means a lot to us that you are both supporting us and supporting Rooster Teeth. Thank you guys so much. Going around the table, Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at KiaXet. That is KIAXET. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I am on all the shows. We have Z Nation on Monday, Star Wars Rebels on Tuesday, Arrows on Wednesday. It's off for a week, and the four show crossover is the week after that. And then Robots in Disguise is obviously not going to be on Thursday because what is Thanksgiving? We are figuring out a new time slot. Follow the Twitter. We will let you know.
Stacy.
I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Stacey Shuttle. I'll be a little quiet online because I'm preparing for a craft fair. That's another thing I do in my spare time. But I will be back here on Video Game Movie Anatomy in 2 Mondays.
Not this Monday, the Monday
next
after.
Monday.
We're doing Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive.
Fantasy Month.
And I am the internet's Mark B. Donica. Find me on Twitter, Mark B. Donica, Rooster Teeth website, Mark B. Donica, Instagram, all that great stuff. You can find our interview with Lindsay. It should be probably on your side tab. So go watch that now that the show's over. Find us on the Rooster Teeth website. Find all of us at ABTV Rooster Team. That is our main group account. That's where we tweet out all of our information, guests, interviews, contests, things of that nature. So please follow us there. Follow all of us individually. Megan.
Yeah, there's definitely more to come. I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Thank you again to everybody in the contest, everybody in the hashtag, everybody in the live chat. You guys are amazing. We love you so much, and we will see you all next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dust you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.